At dawn, I wake in the quiet longhouse. My wife is already by the hearth, stoking the fire and preparing barley porridge. I step outside into the sharp, frosty air, shrouded in mist. The turf roof of our home blends into the hillside. I tend to the animals, sheep, cows, and horses, whose breath turns into clouds of steam. Returning inside, I sit down for breakfast with my family. We eat a simple meal of porridge and dried fish. This morning, there is no war, only the peaceful rhythm of family, animals, and land, the true beginning of a Viking day. Life here is simple work and steady rhythm. My wife bakes bread, my children fetch water, churn butter, tend the animals. I mend fences, cast nets, and work the fields. Each task is small, yet together they keep hunger and wolves away. Bread, fish, and song at the hearth remind us life is not feasts, but labor, family, and the heartbeat of survival. Not every day is peaceful. After the work is done, I take my shield and spear from the wall, worn from years of use. My son follows me, eager but clumsy, his wooden practice sword too large for his hands. On the field beyond the house, we spar. He strikes with youthful strength, but I parry with ease, teaching him patience, timing, the rhythm of battle. The ground is damp, the smell of grass crushed underfoot. Sweat builds quickly, even in the cold air. I drill him in the shield wall, showing how to lock his shield with mine, how the strength of many men becomes one unbreakable wall. I remind him that war is not glory, but survival, that raids are born not from hunger for blood, but from hunger for food, land, and silver. My wife watches from a distance, her face unreadable, for she knows well what battle takes from families. Later, I join the other men in the village. Together, we sharpen blades on whetstones, oil the wood of our shields, and check the leather of our armor. We speak of raids, of journeys across the sea, of the wealth waiting in monasteries, guarded only by prayers. Yet beneath our words there is silence. Each of us knows we may not return from the next voyage. The clang of iron, the smell of oiled leather, the weight of steel in hand, these are the sounds and scents of a Viking's duty. The time for voyage has come. I wake before dawn, the mist still heavy over the fjord. My boots crunch on wet gravel as I walk down toward the longship waiting by the water. Its dragon-headed prow gleams with new paint, fierce and proud, watching over us. The smell of tar and pine wood fills the air as men load the ship with heavy sacks of barley, barrels of salted fish, bundles of wool, and carved wooden chests. Each creak of rope and thud of cargo echoes in the chill morning. The longship groans against the shore as we push her into the tide, our shoulders straining, hands burning against wet wood. Then, with one final shove, she floats free. The sea is our path and our curse. The oars dip into black water in perfect rhythm, the muscles in our arms burning, sweat mixing with salt spray on our faces. Above us, the square sail swells with the wind, cracking like a thunderclap. For days, the ocean surrounds us with no land in sight, only endless gray horizon, the shriek of gulls, and the taste of salt on our lips. Nights are long and cold. We huddle beneath damp cloaks, listening to the wood creak and the waves slap against the hull. Some men sing, their voices deep and haunting, keeping fear away. Others stare at the stars in silence, tracing constellations taught by their fathers. When the gods favor us, we find new lands and new riches. Our cargo, humble as it seems, will return as wealth. Silver coins, amber beads, wine from far to the south, weapons of fine steel, or silk smooth as water. But trade is not always the end. Sometimes the sea delivers us not to markets, but to fire and plunder. Every voyage is a gamble, every tide a test. The sea takes as easily as it gives, and no man knows if he will return. The call for a raid is answered without hesitation. The longship slices through cold waves, the shore rising before us, green fields, a monastery of stone, smoke drifting from simple hearths. The bells toll, but they do not call to prayer. They warn of us. We drive the ship into sand, the hull grinding as we leap out, water soaking our boots. Shields are lifted, axes in hand, the war cry ripping from our throats. The first clash is chaos. The monks' frightened shouts are drowned by the roar of steel on wood. My axe crashes against a door, splinters flying. Arrows whistle past, striking shield rims. The air is heavy with smoke, with screams, with the raw stench of blood. The world shrinks into noise and flame. A golden chalice falls to the ground, trampled beneath boots. A silver cross is ripped from the altar. Cattle bellow, children cry, fire rises. Yet even in victory, silence follows. Smoke curls above the ruins. Men count the missing. Some lie still on the sand, their blood mingling with seawater. Treasure glitters in the ship's hold. Silver cups, embroidered cloth, bags of grain. But treasure is heavy, and so is the memory of fire. Every raid carves a scar, even if the world sees only glory. After weeks, the sight of home is sweeter than gold. The fjord narrows, the longhouse appears, smoke curling from its roof, fields stretching green, children run barefoot across the yard, shouting, their laughter sharper than any war cry. My wife stands in the doorway, her gaze scanning us, searching for the men who did not return. Her eyes rest on mine, and she smiles, though I see the sorrow she hides. The children cling to my tunic, their small arms strong, their hair smelling of hay and wood smoke. Inside, the longhouse is warm, fire crackling, shadows dancing on timber beams. The hall fills with voices as neighbors gather, horns filled with ale pass from hand to hand. Roasted fish smokes on the hearth, bread still warm from the oven. The table is heavy with silver coins, bright fabrics, jars of wine, but the sound of laughter is richer than any plunder. In these moments, I set aside the weight of the axe. I am not raider, not trader, not seafarer. I am husband, father, farmer. The soil will soon demand my hands again. But tonight, surrounded by firelight and family, I remember why I sail, why I fight, why I return. When night falls, silence returns. The longhouse glows softly, smoke rising through the roof hole, the smell of pine and ash lingering. Children gather at my side, eyes wide as the fire flickers. I speak of the gods, Odin the wise, Thor the thunderer, Freya with her cats, and Loki the trickster. I tell of Yggdrasil, the world tree, and of Ragnarok, when wolves will swallow the sun and the sea will rise to drown us all. Their small hands clutch their blankets tighter, but they listen, breathless. These are not just stories. They are truths, reminders that the gods walk with us, watch us, judge us. Later, I step outside into the biting cold. Above me, the stars blaze like runes written across the sky. Then the heavens shift and the aurora unfurls. Green and silver curtains rippling, moving like spirits. The fjord lies still beneath the light, black and silent, while the mountains loom like giants. In that moment, I feel the presence of the gods more than in temple or shrine. They live in the wind, the fire, the waves, the stars. Tomorrow, I will rise to toil again. But tonight, beneath the northern sky, I belong to something eternal.